everybody, it's your boy Motoman Dan, and welcome back to a new video series I think I'm going to try and do. It's where I get to wave 250 on each map and kind of explain the layout, situation, and everything that's going on with it. So let's take a look at this one. Now this one we did do 1,000 waves on, as you guys may have seen. I'm doing this on sandbox mode, so I don't have to pay for the traps, which is why I have so much money. It starts out with tar to slow everything down. They get flipped over to this side where they all get flipped over like a conveyor belt into the lava. Spike walls help with that. Gravity pillars help with the sappers and make sure that we get the small guys behind the big guys. Eventually everything runs at the same speed, so it doesn't matter later on. As you can see, we have already lost 2 rift points. We've had to replace a few barricades, which would normally happen anyways. Also, we have a lot of health and mana because of the because of sandbox mode. So yeah, all of the flip traps are flipping to this side, spike walls are flipping them over, and flip traps are as well. Then we start using haymakers up here. The reason we're using haymakers is because I wanted to make sure that enemies were hitting the lava, but not too much there. Now, I want to show you something real quick. We were going to get to this a little bit later, but Moneybags already here. Moneybags is a 1x1 mob. Uh-oh, Bird hurt himself there. He's fluffing. Moneybags is a 1x1 size mob, like a regular orc. So he can actually fit through these small gaps of the barricades, and we used that on our wave 1000. We needed to have 2 of them on this one because of the way that everything kind of like ran. We don't really need 2, we only need 1, but 2 is nice. The second one has the gravity pillar, so anything tailgating Moneybags that's small is gonna get lifted up and swatted away. It only works if there's only 1 thing following him. If there's 2, then cooldowns will happen and one of them will get through. So whatever is first will do that. This is our second siphon room where Moneybags and small enemies will continue to run through, and big enemies will actually run around. That will kind of separate Moneybags from the big guys. One of the things that can happen is the big guys will tailgate and small guys will tailgate Moneybags. Moneybags will put the traps on cooldown, and everybody else will just follow through, and that can cause issues. So we got some gravity pillars here to catch some small guys that are tailgating Moneybags at this point, and then of course we have them later on. The whole idea here is to flip towards the rift on this side, except for the very first flip traps. The very first ones in the front, they actually flip towards the stairs because enemies take a lot of damage over stairs. Generally speaking, we are not here to do damage. We are only here to do the flipping. Now, where I'm standing here, we're going to flip them towards the stairs, and that corner flips them backwards, so that way they can get flipped over into the lava, or farther down the track. Now, let's take a look at the setup we have. Flip traps going in. You do want to space out tar every once in a while. I think in the run I had more tar than this. Probably this one would be tar that I'm standing on. But generally speaking, you need tar because it's a 50% slow. At around wave 150 is their maximum speed. So it's really reducing that to like 75. You're removing 75 waves of a speed buff. Really nice. So I place them in the corners. A lot of times anywhere I'm not going to place a flip trap is where I place a tar. Except for back here, we don't need any flip traps, so I do nothing but tar back here. Okay. We want to kill all the big guys in the lava. We don't really want them to stay alive in a kill box too long. Eventually, what you might do is you might get rid of some of the freeze that's in that corridor there to make sure that enemies can and will fall into lava there. Because then you're just going to be waiting too long for them to die. So you have to clear up a little bit of your kill box if you want that to happen. Okay, so the small guys on these flip traps here will get flipped over. Those flip traps are facing the rift. Some of the enemies will fall in right where I'm standing. They'll get flipped over back into that area, or they'll hit the top and the top will swat them over. And we got the double flip you need for the very heavy enemies, but not all of them. Some of them only need 1 flip, but the Mountain Troll, the Armored Ogre, and the Earth Elemental, you need 2. Usually, you need 2, unless they're in the right spot. They have like they move slightly less far as the regular ogres and regular trolls, and fire lords. And then we got this section up here. The reason we don't run a lot of tar up here is because, for whatever reason, enemies will sometimes double back on themselves and get flipped over anyways, so that's fine. This side is pretty important to build up. This will be like the first thing you want to really build. After you build that corridor, you want to do some barricading and then build this corner. And that's the first thing you want to build. The reason is because you want to start this assembly line of flipping. And in order to do that and make sure that you're safe, you have to have traps up here. Because every once in a while, an enemy will end up flying over, slide across the railing, and end up like about right where I'm standing here. So you got to have stuff back here to catch them and knock them back over into the lava. This is the last place to get knocked over. If anything gets to this point, you probably built it wrong because it shouldn't. Unless the barricades, some of the barricades are destroyed. Now, it's possible that a sapper flips over into the barricade. It's possible that a fire lord doesn't die until later on, turns into firelings, or the fire elemental doesn't get flipped over into lava, ends up turning into firelings, and firelings end up getting flipped into the barricade. Their targeting goes poor after a while, so they generally don't target barricades. They just happen to die next to them, and then the barricades are destroyed. This is not AFKable in the idea that you would be able to just walk away because of the RNG that you're going to have with sappers and with firelings. It's just not feasible to do. It's not feasible to do this map by AFK. We tried it. You can, for the most part, leave, but you will have to check in on it and hope that nothing bad has happened since the last time you checked in on it. So there you go. It's definitely doable to get to this point, to 250, to 1,000 even. I wouldn't recommend it. It takes a while. This is the quickest map to do it on. And it took us about 58 hours to get to wave 1,000. So, you know, take that for what you will. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and found it informative if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing what you guys have done on other maps using some of the techniques that we've used on this map here to get to 1,000 from the stream, or just for the showcase of this video if you haven't seen the stream or the 1,000 wave video. All right, I will catch you guys on the flip side.